Hi, everyone. It's Greg with the Mile High Mensch Club and podcast here. I was told by my daughter that I was doing the YouTube completely wrong with the camera, so I fixed it. I am an old guy, so hopefully a little grace. I would like to ask everybody, if you're listening, you could hit the like button and the subscribe button. It does make a huge difference for the success of the channel and making sure that we can get some motivation out to many other people out there and get questions answered. So if you do that, I'd really appreciate it. It showed 93% of the people who watched did not subscribe. And there's some interesting analytics out there. As I've been thinking about what I wanted to talk about today was debt and what I did and what's really given me financial freedom. And at the same time, it was something very unpopular at the time that I did it. And I was told by many people that I was making a huge mistake. So one is I have no debt, and I started in my early 30s. And I think we talked about compound interest yesterday, and that was really important to me. And when I realized debt was the main drag, if you want to call it an anchor, to getting financial freedom, I did everything I could to get debt completely gone. My wife and I drive 10-year-old cars, for example. We don't drive new cars, and we buy things we like, but we buy good things and we keep them a long time. But one of the most controversial ones that I did was pay the house off. I bought this house when I was 30 years old, and by the age of 42, the house was paid off. We paid off this house during a time where interest rates were at an all-time low. So imagine many people said to me, "You're crazy. Why would you pay off a house when you could just put it in the stock market and make more money?" And I told them 100% is risk. When you're not taking an account of putting money into the stock market is what could happen, right? We could go into a 10-year correction. And then at that time, my money that could have been in my house, I would be losing money on the stock market. But the most important thing, and I know this is psychological, but it works. And a few people I've talked to who have also tried it, it worked. At the time when I was in my 40s, house was paid off, cars were paid off, I had no debt. That brings my overhead, my household overhead down very low. I could have gone from making required $150,000 a year to a requirement of making $50,000, just because my overhead was so low that I didn't have to worry. And because I didn't have to worry any longer, one, I took some bigger risk with work. I ended up opening my own company and charging differently, thinking of work differently. I had that freedom of mind. So I eliminated risk, but the bigger thing was it gave me the freedom to think differently. And that freedom to think differently paid off dividends. And that really was what, if I go back in time, that was the turning point for me of going from being an average Joe to being financially independent by 55. And I don't live a crazy lifestyle. I'm talking about just a normal lifestyle that I can live, and I'll keep working, and we'll get into what do you do when you're retired, because this is a big sticky point for me. Even I'm having a hard time doing that. That's one of the things they don't really talk to you about or educated about. So I really want to talk about that because I still am a firm believer that you paying off your house and getting rid of all debt is the most important thing you possibly can do to increase wealth and to give yourself financial freedom. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And I know the counter argument of it and what I could have made. And during this stock market bull run that happened over those years, I probably would have made more money with that money. But again, I never would have taken the risk that I took with business that ended up giving me a lot more money. So you've got to weigh these two things out. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I appreciate you listening. Again, if you could hit the subscribe and like button and pass this on if you think anybody's interested, it'd be great. I will be going more into the airline status things and travel. I'm trying to see what people are really interested in that I can talk and teach and get some good information out there to people. So I thank you again, and I look forward to more videos and talking to you soon. Bye bye.